Has life not been going the way you want it to? Is weed becoming your savior? It's a question that you might want to ask yourself. Because sure, life happens to us sometimes. And sometimes it's in our favor and other times it's not. We all know the things we should be doing and we should do less of to just improve the different aspects of our life. Yet it can be very challenging to do these things sometimes. We all tend to seek out the easy way. We're naturally, to a degree, a bit lazy. Things that we try to avoid are usually going to be the things that are most painful or difficult to get through. Sure, we can choose to put ourselves in the situations that might improve our life that are difficult to go through, but even that tends to be a degree of a temporary experience. Most of us don't want to reside in that experience if it's painful. And sometimes we're not confident in our ability, or we fear we might fail when we tend to want to avoid those things in our life. So rather than actually go and do the things we may need to do, or we know is for our betterment, we actually tend to avoid it or try to escape that internal feeling on the inside through some other means. That could be something as much as marijuana, because obviously as soon as you ingest it, it can have a profound effect on how you feel in that moment. Doesn't mean that it's good to escape your reality. It doesn't mean it's good to escape the relationship that you have with yourself in difficult times, because that's when most people that are sober effortlessly tend to create new tools for their toolbox, where they end up developing new skills or approaches to their life through internal quality questions on how they might be able to better navigate those difficult times from things that they feel on some level is a bit daunting or overwhelming. That may be something like changing the job that you're at, rather than just escaping the fact that your job is now very toxic or uncomfortable. It might be easier to face that fact and then apply for jobs to get yourself out of that situation. But oftentimes people just want to smoke to get that immediate change rather than consciously approach things to eventually get a different outcome, because that's not necessarily instantaneous. You have to put out job applications, you have to attend those interviews, you have to go through the rejections of the ones that you did not get, and you also have to face the fact that you're changing a career. All those things can be, to some extent, uncomfortable. So, what's going to happen in your life if you keep turning to weed rather than turning inward and finding what it is that this marijuana addiction is serving? What purpose is it actually serving you to escape your reality? What will your life look like in another 5-10 years if you keep doing things that you know that you don't want to necessarily go through? So if you don't like your job but you smoke to just feel better after your shift, or you smoke even while on the job, what are the consequences of that 5, 10, 20 years down the road? Will you still be stuck in a dead-end job that you aren't very happy about, not very passionate about? Now you're fighting traffic and rushing last minute to get to work because, let's face it, you really don't like that job. There's not a internal motivation for you to seek out something that is more in alignment with your desires and your standards. How much more can you live out your life that's not going where you want it to go? Because I'm sure at some level you may have already accumulated a couple years in your life to where you're already experienced the fact that you're not happy where you're currently at. You may call yourself a late bloomer, or you feel a bit behind the curve in comparison to other people in your life. You thought you might have accomplished more at this point in time in your life. So if you keep escaping your reality, what are the long-term consequences to doing so? And if this is something that you're actually ready to deal with rather than continuously escaping not only your outward experiences, but also the internal experiences that you're having, reach out to me via Calendly link and we can have a phone call session. It's absolutely free and we can get a better idea of what your particular situation is and if there's anything I could do to help you in that scenario. Take care of yourself.